Great, we are one step closer to the rest of the class. Okay, so let's refresh this page, and we are almost done. We have 5 more lessons to go through. So creating a set of checkboxes. This should be fun. Fresh. Make sure we got a fresh. Cool. So let's see. Okay, so I want you to read all this and basically we're going to look at the example and then we'll go from there. So as we have already seen before, like it is basically the same thing as before. Checkboxes. Forms commonly use checkboxes for questions that may have more than one answer. So checkboxes are a type of input. We saw that already, but now you know that there's a different. So before we looked at radio. Radio is a type of input, and checkboxes are a type of input. Each of your checkboxes can be nested within its own label element by wrapping an input element inside the label element, which automatically associates the checkbox input with the label element surrounding it. All related checkbox inputs should also have the same name attribute as we saw here with the same name. Name is actually name is skills. So here the name is different, and I guess ID is kind of the same thing too. Okay, let's continue reading this. It is considered best practice to explicitly define the relationship between a checkbox input and its corresponding label by setting the for attribute. So we're going to look at the for attribute again. The for attribute, for horns, for skills. Setting the for attribute on the label element to match the ID attribute in the associated input element. So here's the example. Label for loving, input ID loving, type is checkbox, and type is personality. Notice the space, and then loving, label, right? So let's take this example and put it inside the form as well. I'm going to put it underneath. I'm just going to put 2 so that you can see the original as well as I'm going to add the indentation here so that you can actually see it, and then obviously unindent that. I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom one. Okay, cool. So now we have 2, and if you go down, you can see loving, loving, right? Okay, so add your form to set 3 checkboxes. Okay, so I should do this one more time. So I'm going to do this one more time. Add space. So now we have 3 of these. Add to your form a set of 3 boxes, 3 checkboxes, and each of them should be nested within their own label. Notice all is on, and all 3 should share the name attribute of personality, and they do. They all have personality. See, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now the page should have 3 checkboxes. Each of the 3 each of the three checkbox elements should have its own label element that is nested inside of. So make sure that your label elements have a closing tag. So each of them have a closing tag. So we should have these three here, and then obviously there's two more from before, the outdoor indoor example from before, which we did in the last challenge. And what else? Make sure they have their own closing, and then make sure to give your checkbox name, attribute, personality. So I'm going to just typically you should change this to something else like caring, caring, and then passionate. We're just going to change it like that so that it has different attributes. And notice they have a BR there, so I'm going to just put BR here as well, just to break it. So it actually looks nicer. You can actually say it's loving, caring, passionate. Alright, and that's it. So let's look at this example. Paragraph, and then a div. We haven't actually learned how to use divs yet, surprisingly. Either way, okay. So input type checkbox, then ID scales, name scales, checked. So this is the default, right? So if you reset this, it's checked. If you move check here, from here you put it here, then the default is checked, right? So like I'm saying, if you just remove this, it disappears. Notice that? You put it here, it should be checked. So I wonder if it will break it if we put a check box check. So I'm going to say checked for caring. See? Caring? I didn't even touch this. I didn't even go there. I'm going to remove this from caring. I'm going to put it in passionate. I'm going to go down and it's passionate. So I'm going to just leave that, see if it passes the test. And if it does, wonderful. Let's run the test. And it should pass. The world rejoices. Cool. So we are going to move on to the next, which is check radio buttons and checkboxes by default, which is what we just did. Okay, see you in the next video.